Hi, everyone. You're listening to Live with Necee. I am your host, Opal Bailey. Hey, I was thinking this past week about Carnival. I don't know why, but I was thinking of the time when I was a little girl and I would go to the Carnival and how I enjoyed the amusement park, with the rides and definitely the funnel cakes. But I also noticed, they had like the animal section and the pony rides and all these different attractions that you can be a part of. But the one that I was really amazed with was the jugglers. I always was thinking like, okay, how are they able to juggle bowling ball pins without dropping them? And then they would add an extra ball to their routine and they were just going. And I'm just thinking like, wow, isn't it how we act with our own lives? Isn't it what we do with our own lives? Like we juggle all of the things and we can't drop one thing because then it'll just offset everything else. So in the meantime, while I was thinking about the Carnival, I was thinking about how caregivers juggle their life in order to care for those that, their loved ones or other people. So I am dedicating the month of October to all the caregivers that's out there, the doctors, the nurses, the family members, the husband, the mom, the daughters who are taking care of their loved ones. Because during this time, I have had the pleasure of meeting with a lot of people, and even though their circumstances or their situation wasn't always pleasurable, they are caregivers of their mom or dad. And they were sharing with me about, their chronic illness or the things that they're going through. And even when we consider January through November as cancer awareness, different, Alzheimer's awareness, all kind of different diseases awareness for these months, it just hit me that, there isn't anything about the caregivers. And I know that without you guys, their lives will be very hard, very difficult. And so I just want to let you know from the bottom of our hearts that you are so vital and so special to your family, to those around you, to your friends, your coworkers. And we just want to say thank you so much for your love, for your sacrifice, because I have several friends who are caregivers in different places and different areas of their life. And this one particular young lady, she is a caregiver of her mom and dad. But right now, her mom passed and she's still a caregiver of her father. And this young lady does it all. When I say all, I mean she does it all. She now have moved out of her apartment and now she moved in with her father. And so she takes him to dinner every night. He has a specific restaurant that they go to every night. And not only that, she takes him to his doctor's appointments. She keeps up with his vision, his dental appointments, anything that he needs, anything that she can do to help his life better, to be better for the time, she does it. And I've seen this young lady sacrifice her own self, sacrifice her own desire. She moved here to Cape Canaveral 7 years ago, and she had a very nice business and she had a nice life. Well, her parents were getting ill. And so she decided to come down and be their caregiver. And she shared how hard it was because she felt that she had to put her life on hold, that she had to stop doing a lot of things that she wanted to do. And it was difficult for her to the point sometimes she would get upset. She would get angry. She would be really mad that she had to do that. But then as time went on, she realized that, hey, if I don't help take care of them, I don't want them to go into a nursing home or maybe, and come to find out they didn't want it. They don't want that. They rather be at home when, if God called them home, they rather be in their home. They don't want to be in a facility. And even though she have a brother, she is the sole caregiver of her dad. And I know that if she's going through all of this, I can tell that maybe there's someone out there who's going through the same thing, can identify with this young lady and can say, hey, that's me. I'm doing that too. And I just want to say, you guys, I'm telling you, y'all are awesome. We don't give you guys enough credit. We don't give you enough accolades. We give you a hard time. Sometimes we don't want to listen to what you're saying. But you know what? I just want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Y'all have really touched not only the lives of your family, but you're touching the lives of people that you don't even know. I have 2 daughters and they are LPNs, and they go to the homes of their patients because they're in pediatrics, and they're seeing 2-year-olds, babies on life support systems, medical equipment. Some of them can't talk, for whatever physical ailment they have, they're hooked up to these machines. And my daughters, they're there to make sure that their trachs are cleaned, to make sure they change their diapers. And sometimes these kids who have had this trauma in infancy are now grown to be 21, 22-year-old men or women, where you still have to take care of them as if they're infants. And I look at my daughters when they come home and how tired they are, but they're so energetic, if you can understand what I mean. They're tired, but at the same time, they're energetic because of what they do and how they're giving back and how they're caring for this mother's child, where it allows the mother to do what she need to do, or the husband or both spouses to do what they need to do. It allows the husband to go to work, or it allows the mother to go to work, or both of them go to work, or one of them can take a nap while the caregiver is at home to relieve them for a little bit, and then they switch off. And this has become such a common thing now, to where it is affecting everything that we do. And it has been very difficult for me, because during the storm of Matthew, I know we all, we prayed for our families and everything, but you know what? My heart just was so sensitive to the families who had caregivers, or who had to deal with taking care of their parents, a family member, or another person, and they needed the electricity. And without the electricity, it would put that person like life in danger at that moment. They had no opportunity to go out and run out and get a generator. They either had to have one, or they had to have a game plan to say, okay, if something happened, if the electricity is out, where do we need to go so we can be close to the hospital? So that this is the time frame, or this is the allotted time that we have in order to get my daughter or our child or our mom to the medical facility to continue on with the medicine and continue on with the equipment that is helping them and keeping them alive. And there may be some of you as caregivers that may not have to face that traumatic situation, but you may be caring for a parent or a sibling who may have fell, and you still have to take care of them. You still have to, cook for them. You're still a caregiver. And at the same time, even though you're caring for them, most of us, we forget about taking care of ourselves. And so that's one thing I wanted to mention to you today too. As caregivers, it's so important to take care of yourself. And even though you're there and you may be the only caregiver for that parent or child or a loved one, or even for someone you don't know, take the time to take care of yourself. If it's nothing but taking a 2-minute breath break to breathe in and breathe out, to inhale and exhale, to just walk away and come back. And I understand that it's easy said than done, but you have to be able to incorporate some kind of relief time, because if not, you will become stressed. You will become wore out emotionally, physically, spiritually. You'll just be exhausted. And I can remember a time when my daughter had been sick for over, I don't know, so many times over the last year. And this one particular time I drove to Virginia, she had broken out from medication, Bactrim. So she had an allergic reaction to Bactrim, and she had Stevens-Johnson syndrome. And during this time, as her caregiver for that moment, I was exhausted. Not only was I exhausted from the drive, but mentally, because I didn't know what I was going to go into. One, I didn't know how she was going to be looking, because it was very drastic. This outbreak, it really caused her skin to peel and everything. So it was very drastic. And so with that in mind, I had to continue to motivate myself and remind myself that I'm here for her, and that what's going on is because I'm here for her. I can't think of myself. I can't think of how uncomfortable it may be if I have to sleep on a couch or in the chair in her room, which I did. I had to put that aside and say, no, I'm here for her, to make sure that, she's being taken care of, her well-being. So if I'm doing that for just one person for that time frame, I can just imagine how you feel when you're doing that for your loved one or your family member or someone you don't know every single day. And I just take my hat off to you, and I just say thank you, guys and girls and everyone, for just doing over and beyond, going over and beyond and taking care of your family members and your loved ones. Statistics says that about 70% of adult caregivers have to rely on their family members and friends and neighbors, and that there is 20 to 50% greater likelihood for depressive symptoms for adult caregivers, and that your body can start breaking down and you become sick. And some statistics says that even the caregivers die before for those they are caregiving. So I just want to let you know that take care of yourself as well. You're so vital. You're so vital to your parents. You're so vital to your family. And I was thinking of another example of one of my friends who posted on Facebook about how stressful she was because she's taking care of her mother-in-law. And of course the family is there, but when I read her post, I could just feel the stress. I could just feel her wanting to say, I need just like a screaming as a help to say, I need a break, and having to care for an elderly person, and not only just for her, but for your family, and to continue to go to work. Because this person continued to work. She didn't stop working. She continued to work, continued to take care of her mother-in-law, her family, her husband, meeting everything else, all the other responsibilities, taking her to the doctor's appointments, making sure she gets her hygiene care and food and everything else, cleaning up of her apartment, all these things. I could just feel this young lady scream inside, say, hey, I need a break. Hey, I need some help. Hey, I just need to relax for a minute. But the most important thing that really stuck out to me was when she said that, hey, the electricity is still out in our home, and it's difficult to take care of my mother-in-law without electricity. And sometimes, with electricity, that meant that the water wasn't, you run your water heater by electricity. So that let me know that, okay, maybe their water heater's out. But she was telling us that how, hey, pray for me, pray for us, keep us in prayer, because this is hard. And their lights came on, but it was like days after. And so I just had that overwhelming feeling of, man, God, what about the caregivers? What about those men and women? And I'm not going to eliminate children, because children, they can get into situations to where they're caring for their mother. They're caring for their father. And we don't know what situation we will ever be in. We may be okay now, but we never know if we will get to be in that place where we need someone to care for us, or we need to care for someone else in our family members, or a loved one, or a friend. So I just want to encourage you to reach out to the caregivers, those who even when you go into the hospital, they are caregivers. These nurses, these doctors, they're caregiving. They're constantly caring for us. Just think about the hurricane that we all just overcame, and how one hospital had to close down. They had to transport all of their patients to another hospital that was like 45 minutes away. Could you imagine the equipment that needed to be in place, and how fast they had to get some of these patients to the hospital in order for them to stay alive? Just like that, at that moment, having an accident or not being able to get to the hospital at the time that it was allotted was a life and death situation. And sometimes we take things for granted. We take things for granted. So that is why I'm dedicating this month to all the caregivers. I will have families that want to share their story about caregiving for either their mother or their father or their child. And some of them have their children still with them. But this one young lady who will be interviewed next week, she lost her son. And so these are very hard things to deal with. Not only you're the caregiver of your family or loved ones or friends, but what do you do when you lose them as well? What makes you keep going? What makes you keep moving forward? And so I just want to encourage you. But I also, I just really feel the need to pray for you guys, because it's not an easy task to be able to care for someone every day, all day long. It's not easy. Just this morning, one of my daughters had mentioned to me, Mom, one of my mothers had asked me to stay a little longer because, the other caregiver wasn't able to come in. And Mom, I couldn't because, I had already worked over the allotted time for the law requirement. And my heart went out to this mother that she had to go and get her mother to come and watch their child so she can go to work. And her husband, he travels, so he's not there. And I'm thinking like, wow, Lord. And this is not just that day or, just for a couple of hours. This is the whole length of time the mother is gone. Her mother, the grandmother, has to be there with this child to make sure that this child continue to get the medical attention, the medical need, the medical care that this child desperately needs all day long. And then the mother would come home and she would take that role of a caregiver and continue to care for her child until another nurse comes in. And then possibly she may be able to take a break or maybe get a nap in if possible. But sometimes I hear that they don't have the opportunity or the pleasure of even taking a nap. It's a constant ongoing care. And so I just want to pray for you guys. Father, I just thank you for every caregiver, for every person, Lord, that is sacrificing their life. They're sacrificing everything that they desired and they wanted to do to care for someone in their family or friends, co-workers, or whoever it may be, Lord, even strangers. Thank you for their commitment. Thank you for their love, Lord. And I ask that you would just continue to give them the strength, continue to give them the energy and the love and the peace, God. Continue to provide them with all the resources that they need in order to make their life a little better. Give them a place, a time of restoration. And so, Father, I just thank you for all the caregivers. And I thank you for those who are constantly sacrificing their lives on a daily basis. And so, God, we thank you for the gifts that you've given them and given us as a society to have that heart for their loved ones. And we ask this in Jesus' name. And not only are you vital to your family members and those around you, you're also vital to the community. And I want to invite you to a Caring for Caregivers event. It is a free breakfast and day of pampering to all the caregivers. It is going to be held on November the 12th. It is a Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, and it's going to be at the Destiny Christian Church at 700 South Courtney Parkway in Merritt Island, Florida. And it is a hot breakfast. You're going to be pampered with massages, hand massage, chair massages. You're going to also have a hairstylist, a makeup artist, a nail tech, as well as one of my closest friends, Kelly Pino Photography, will be there taking your photos for you. And with music, door prizes, it's just your day. So mark it on your calendar to come out and just have this moment. If it's an hour, even if you don't have but 30 minutes, just come out on Saturday, November the 12th at Destiny Christian Church, 700 South Courtney Parkway for our Caring for Caregivers breakfast and pampering. So just bring your family, bring those, even if you know other caregivers, bring them, because you know what? There's nothing more rewarding than to be pampered. There's nothing more relaxing to know that, hey, you are cared for. You are special to us. And that's all we want to do. That's all the church want to do. Is just let the community know that, hey, you guys, y'all are valuable. Y'all are special. And most of all, God loves you. He cares about you so much. He put in you the desire to want to love others. He put in you the desire to want to care for your family and your friends. Because if he didn't, you wouldn't do it. And if you did, you wouldn't last long if he didn't put it in you, because you would already give up on it. So because you're still sticking with your mom and you're still there with your loved ones and your families and your friends and sometimes coworkers and most of the time strangers, that just lets you know that God put that love in your heart for them and that he honors that and he will reward you for that. And you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about nothing really. And the resources is available. Even if you don't know where to turn, there are definitely resources available for you so that you can go to and afford to get help, whether it's medical, whether it's insurance, whether it's food, whatever the case may be. Look into different places. And we're going to also have a resource table available at the Caregivers Breakfast for you as well, to provide you with some different that you may not know. Just for an example, the AARP, they have a caregiver section, and they will provide you with different resources and helping you to be the best caregiver you can be. And it also provide different resources to where you can get the medical attention that maybe you don't even know you can get, even not only from the government, but from your job, from your workers' compensation insurance. Some of those offer caregivers benefits. So just to know those things is vital to you as well, to be able to continue to care for your family. And so I just wanted to just let you know that we appreciate you and that you are so loved and so needed. And sometimes I know you may not feel like it. You may feel like you're on your own. You may feel like you're alone. But I just wanted you to know that you're not alone. You're not alone. We do care about you, and we thank you so much for your continual sacrifice every single day, all day long. And we also want you to know, please take care of yourself as well, because you're just as vital to us, just as you are to your families. Thank you again for tuning in to Live with Necee. I am your host, Opal Bailey. And just remember, care for yourself as well as caring for those that are around you. It's vital. God bless.